The cameras flashed like lightning. My brother stood tall in his crisp navy suit, a broad smile stretched across his face. A giant golden check shimmered in the sunlight, bold letters reading $75 million. Behind him, a sleek Tesla gleamed black and silent, waiting like a predator in the driveway. Further back, the mansion rose against the sky, marble pillars shining white like polished bone. The crowd cheered, their voices crashing against me in waves of excitement. But my hands trembled. My chest felt tight, like invisible fingers pressed hard against my ribs. I watched the officials shake my brother's hand, their grip firm, their smiles sharp. Confetti drifted through the air, slow and weightless, sticking to my damp skin. Then, through the crowd, I saw him. A man I had never seen before. He moved toward me without hesitation, his coat long, his face hidden in shadow beneath a wide hat. My throat dried instantly. He stopped just inches away. The noise of the celebration blurred into a dull hum, as if the world pulled back, leaving only us. His hand slipped into his pocket, and then he pressed a thin white envelope into my palm. The paper was cold, colder than it should have been. His voice was low, almost swallowed by the wind. "This is for you," he said. I stared at him, but his eyes remained hidden. My heart hammered too loud in my ears, each beat a warning drum. I wanted to ask what it was, but my lips would not part. He leaned closer, his breath carried the faint scent of iron and smoke. "You will understand soon," he whispered, and then, as quickly as he had appeared, he melted back into the crowd. I looked down at the envelope. My fingers itched, but fear pinned them still. The edges were sharp, almost cutting into my skin. I slid a thumb beneath the seal. The sound of tearing paper cracked louder than the cheers around me. Inside was a single folded note. The handwriting was jagged, hurried, black ink pressing deep into the fibers. It read, "One fortune is never free. One debt must always be paid. Look at your brother's shadow." The words sank into me like ice. I turned, my eyes locking on my brother. His smile was wide, too wide. For a moment, his shadow against the marble steps seemed to move differently than his body. It twitched, it stretched, and then it grinned. My stomach flipped. The air felt thick, choking, heavy with something unseen. The confetti no longer looked like celebration, it looked like ash. My hand tightened around the envelope, crushing the paper until my knuckles ached. I wanted to scream, but the sound would not rise. My brother lifted the keys to the Tesla high above his head. The crowd roared, but behind him, his shadow leaned toward me, lips moving though no sound came. It was calling my name, and I knew with bone-deep certainty that the envelope was only the beginning. The roar of the crowd grew faint. My vision tunneled until all I saw was the shadow. It stretched longer, darker, reaching across the marble like spilled ink. The grin widened, teeth sharp and endless, a shape no shadow should hold. My brother basked in the light, blind to it all. His laughter carried high, rich and triumphant, but the shadow was not his. It belonged to something else, something older, something patient. The envelope in my hand pulsed, almost alive, as if the words inside were breathing. A sudden chill wrapped around my spine, twisting until my knees weakened. I staggered back, but no one noticed. No one saw the darkness creeping behind him, no one but me. My brother lifted his arms to the sky as if he owned it, and behind him the shadow bent low, whispering into his ear. I could not hear the words, but I felt them. They slid beneath my skin, cold and heavy, pressing against my ribs like stone. The note's warning repeated in my mind. One fortune is never free. One debt must always be paid. I swallowed hard, my mouth dry as ash. Perhaps the money was his. Perhaps the mansion was his. Perhaps the Tesla gleamed for him. But the debt was mine. The shadow's grin turned toward me, wide as the horizon, and for the first time I understood what the envelope meant. My brother had been chosen for the prize. I had been chosen for the prize. The celebration roared on, blind to the truth, and I stood frozen, the envelope crushed in my hand, knowing the moment of payment had already begun.